guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that one mid-size truck that got a major redesign for 2024. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2024 Ford Ranger. This particular one is an XLT, but it's got the FX4 off-road package. But before we get into this mid-size turbocharged pickup truck, let's talk about what's going on here. So that mid-size truck segment is on fire. Lots of different changes from all the different brands, but it's getting harder and harder to find trucks that kind of do it all. This is where the new Ranger comes into play. At least Ford is hoping that it comes into play this way. You're going to be able to get new technology on the interior, two different engine options, or you could go all in for the all-new Ranger Raptor. But what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a mid-size truck, does this bring the best for the money? And really, is this the best way to option a Ford Ranger? Let's go ahead, let's dive in our XLT and find out. Right off the bat, new face, looks so much better than the previous generation, and it makes sense because that previous generation was quite dated when we finally got it here on our shores. Now, up front, you're gonna see that traditional C-shaped interlocking design on the headlight housing, LED daytime running lamps, LED headlights, and then there's that nice dark gunmetal metallic gray finish on the upper grille part. As we drop down, body color, and then I like the way you are getting LED fog lamps, plus functional air curtains with more of that gunmetal gray. And that's one of the things that, when it comes to all the different colors that they offer on the Ranger, I really like the iconic silver with all of these darker gray accents. Now, as we come across that Ford blue oval, so much history there. You do have a forward-facing camera with a washer. Love the way you got the gunmetal on the horizontal bars, and then everything else is flat black. That gunmetal metallic gray finish, and then down below you got massive functionality because we do have that turbocharged EcoBoost engine underneath the hood. Now, pretty much the only brand that has a naturally aspirated engine is going to be Nissan with the Frontier or Jeep with the Gladiator. All the rest of the brands are using turbocharged power plants. I guess you could even throw in the Honda Ridgeline, even though some people don't consider that a truck. The flat metallic silver, extra ground clearance with the off-road package, and you are going to get, you hear that? Metal skid plates to protect the oil pan, the fuel area with your fuel tank and everything else. So it's not just getting 4x4 added, it's also the protection, the forward-facing camera, the washer. Those are important things for off-roading. Now, as we rise up, I love the way the hood simulates the bigger brother, the F-150. You get a nice large indentation in the center, and then the other indentations on the corners. What that does for you is when you're looking out the front, it gives you good visibility forward so that you're not really guessing what the heck is in front of you. But of course, that forward-facing camera is really gonna help as well. Now, when we come around the bend, one of the things I wanna point out is gonna be these wheels. So you're gonna have these optional wheels, same gunmetal metallic gray finish, wrapped in those Goodyear Wrangler Territory tires. Those are real deal off-road tires. It's a 17-inch wheel, and the tires are 255 by 70. And then the other thing I want to point out, besides the great looking wheel with those off-road tires, painted around the fender openings. No flat black, no gloss black. I like the way they're incorporating the gunmetal metallic gray finish into all four corners. And then of course, I'm gonna have Steven zoom in and show you all of those great suspension bits, your upper control arm, your springs, your shock absorber. Everything has been updated and tweaked for this new generation of the Ranger. And remember, this sits on a real box frame. This is not a modular frame setup like a Honda Ridgeline. Coming down the side, you do have your XT badge with the flat black. I wish they would have done something a little bit better than flat black, but nice that they have the XLT badge. flat black on the mirror caps, you do get 360-degree mirrors. So even though the mirror caps are not painted, you are getting 360-degree mirrors. I prefer the size of a mid-size truck over a full-size. They're easier to park, they're easier to put in your garage, and I feel like you could go on some tighter trails with them. You do have fixed running boards, nice large size, and those are removable, so if you're really gonna go beyond the dirt road and you're gonna get to the rough patches, those are gonna be nice to take off. Here's another little thing that a lot of brands don't have. So you could actually use this to get in and out of your vehicle. That means you can keep your keys inside there and lock the vehicle using the keypad. I like the way it's set up here rather than when they used to have it stuck on the door frame. And XLT has all the flat black touch points, which depending on what you're using the truck for, that could be a good thing, especially when it comes to wear and scrapes. Now, as we come down the side, you'll notice that steel box frame out back. Obviously, they upgrade all the shock absorbers with the FX4 package, and you have that nice badging on the back with the vinyl graphic FX4 spinning it around the back. Love the way they work the tailgate. Just stamp the Ranger name right into the actual tailgate itself. Of course, you're gonna have all of your tow hookup, and then you'll notice just how high the spare tire is mounted underneath. That is gonna help with overall ground clearance. Now, opening up the rear tailgate, it does have soft release, and then of course you could get your favorite bed liner sprayed in here. One of the other things I like about this particular one is you have a 12-volt and a home power source, which is really nice. Makes it very usable for when you're camping, when you're doing all the truck things that you want to do and you got your different tie-down locations. The one zonk is that thing up there, that rubber antenna. I can't stand it. But other than that, I'm liking the changes to this truck. Let's go ahead though, let's pop the hood and check out the EcoBoost. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. Underneath the hood, you're gonna see a modern EcoBoost engine, no cover over it. So you see your coil packs, all 4 of them for the 4-cylinder. You got all your different accessories that the drive belt is working, and then of course you got the turbocharger. It's actually on this side, passenger side, right there is where you're gonna find your turbocharger. But what are we looking at power-wise? Now, there is a higher output engine for the Ranger. This one isn't it. This is a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline-4, pumping out 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Max towing 7,500 pounds. Payload capacity 1,711 pounds. 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. Top speed is governed to 106 miles per hour. MPGs around 20 in the city, 24 on the highway. So, like I said, when it comes to what the truck brings, they really have brought it up a level for the Ranger, especially with having the ability to go Ranger Raptor, which is a twin turbo V6, or the higher output engine of the EcoBoost family. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this Ranger and see it roll. All right guys, we are inside this 2024 Ford Ranger XLT with the FX4 package, which is that off-road package. Gives you the 373 gears, gives you the tires, all of those nice little tweaks to make it a better truck for when you are going off the beaten path. Now I know you're probably saying, well Joe, I've been looking at a new Nissan Frontier. I love that Pro 4X. It really checks off a lot of boxes, but how much is this Ranger? This particular one, being an XLT with the other packages, you're looking at an MSRP of $45,000. Quite a bit of money, but let's see what Ford is bringing for 2024. To the door panels, you're actually getting a mixture of some material. The Zunk is up top, that's hard black plastic material, and I hate that they did that, but I do like the darker gray finish around the lock and unlock switch gear. And then they try to get creative by putting that indentation design in the softer material. Let me know if you're liking that. The contrast stitching looks good. No gloss black, a little bit of aluminum style trim that's like a metallic gray finish, like on the outside. Door pocket is on the tight side. Maybe 2 fish fillet sandwiches, some tartar sauce, and a large Diet Pepsi to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, hard plastic, but they did put a nice texture to it. There's more of that dark metallic gray like there is on the door handle there. We do have our Ford accessory Baker's Dozen Twinkie tray. And then as you slide on in, we have our all new portrait style infotainment system. Now you can either get a 10-inch or a 12-inch. Both of them are nicely nestled in the center console like you see here. So I like the way it doesn't just stick out. It's got the Sync 4 operating software. Now you can operate your AC controls and your heated seats. There's 3 stages of them on the XLT on the screen, but I'll show you another way to handle it. We could go into our home screen here, see what you want to do, and then you could also adjust, make all the adjustments very easily. Even the cameras, I mean, forward-facing camera looks good, 360. I wish it was just a little bit larger of some real estate, but what's nice is that you could zoom in on any corner of the truck, which is kind of good. And then you X out of it, and then we're right back where we started. I can bring up my navigation. Throw it into reverse. Let's see the backup camera. It's got the trajectory, which is nice. Resolution is decent, especially for a Ford. I've never seen a super clear resolution on a Ford product. Now, besides touching the screen, you do have real knobs and buttons for your audio controls. You got standard climate controls, but you do have the switch gear, which is easy to use. Down below, you do have wireless charging, a USB-C, a USB-A, a place for 2 York peppermint patties, and then you have a place to put 2 of those smaller size Slim Jims. This guy here is going to control your 8-speed automatic, 2 cup holders. You got your drive modes and your 4x4 system here. Also have other modes. I'll show you that when you come to the business side of things. I don't know what this stuff is here. Soft touch with the stitching. Open it up, a 12 volt, and you have enough room in there. I would say you could put 2 tackle boxes. So you could go to Long John Silver's. I know Steven loves Long John Silver's. He actually jokes and says it's Long John Stevens. And you could get your tackle box, which comes with the popcorn shrimp, the hush puppies, a biscuit, and you could put them in there perfect and have the extra tartar sauce. Seats, you're getting cloth on the XLT. The good news is they actually gave it some style, and it seems like very durable cloth. Electric adjustments for the passenger, electric adjustments for the driver, and there is no sunroof on this XLT trim. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you the steering wheel, and I got 8 inches I want to show you. Come on over. Hi guys, come on in, business time. You do have those decent sized running boards to get you in and out. You also have your seat controls just like the passenger side, easy to get to, lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall. You really feel the space up front better. There's more room in here than a Frontier. I can tell you that right now. Steering wheel, you got the leather, you got the flat black on the switch gear. Not a big fan of the Ford horn button. Little bit of gloss black. It is manual adjustments, tilting and telescoping on the steering wheel. And then you have that new 8-inch digital display. You could go into your different drive modes. See all the different modes? Look how many modes there are. There's more modes than there are colors on the freaking rainbow. Unbelievable. But I like the graphics. And then you even have, of course, the ability to change those modes at any given time. Of course, we're going to go sport mode. That's how I like to roll. No head-up display on this particular trim. Well, why don't we go ahead? Let's get in the back seat and see if you're going to be squished, or at least your passengers are going to be squished like a grape in this Ranger. All right, guys, back seat time, and the Ranger actually brings some really good space back here. More space than the Frontier, and really even more space than a new Colorado, a Canyon, or a Tacoma. So they did a good job on the space. I like the way they notch out the backs of the seats, give you a little bit more leg room. You do have the perfect place for a McDonald's cheeseburger, USB-C, USB-A, and a home power source. That's a nice touch. I have my own little pocket over here to where I could keep all my favorite dipping sauces. I know Steven is a big fan of Boom Boom sauce. You'll have to talk to him about that. Leave me out of it. But 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom. Pull this down. Ooh, they even did some stitching. It is soft, 2 cup holders. You got your sliding rear cab window. And this seat does fold up to give you more room in and out of this thing. It's just, it's not split. So either you're sitting on it or you're flipping it up. You can't do both. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. I'm gonna hop up front and we're gonna go for a spin in this Ranger. All right, guys, we left Walker 4. We're inside this 2024 Ranger XLT FX4. Now, right away, what I'm loving is that I'm not getting a ton of extra road noise from those off-road spec tires. And I think they did a good job of making a compromise between the two so that for your daily driving use, you're not getting beat to heck by the road noise off of the tires. So they did a great compromise there. Real easy, obviously, to go into your different modes, especially easy to go from 2 high to 4 high to 4 low, depending on what you need for that particular situation. And once you get settled in, it is really comfortable in here. They did a great job where you're putting your arms and stuff, nice and soft, easy to get to that infotainment system. You don't have paddles behind the wheel, which is a bit of a zonk. You have to use the plus and minus button on the side of the shifter. So I guess it's good that they give you the ability to shift manually, that 10-speed automatic, but you do have to use the buttons on the side of the shifter rather than paddles, which is, I don't know why they would do that, but you got me on that one. It's interesting how the 10-speed with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost work so well together. So smooth, so seamless, nice shifts. They've done a good job mating those two, especially with the gearing and hours, the 373 gears. But overall, this thing is so easy to drive. And like I said, for those that need a truck but yet don't want to go full size, these mid-size trucks are really, really done to where they're so versatile at the end of the day. We're gonna go ahead and go on throttle once we get some open space here. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. You are waiting a little bit for the boost, but once it kicks in, you're off and running. So that's the good news. Plenty of torque. You get to tow over 7,000 pounds, which is great. And all the visibility, everything is just really nicely arranged in the Ranger to where you're gonna feel comfortable behind the wheel, which is very, very important, of course. But it also brings a value, right? I mean, XLT has always been known as that trim to help bring some value. And the new technology with the digital instrumentation, the new infotainment system, really makes it feel upscale in this XLT trim Ranger, especially the fact that you got dual power seats. I mean, that to me really shows the clear intentions. Going down the road, very, very smooth. There's really not as much noise as you think you would experience in a truck. And they definitely worked with the suspension. Now, it still rides and drives like a truck. No way around that. And that's where the Ridgeline really flexes its muscle, because it's on an SUV chassis. This being body on frame is going to have a traditional truck driving experience with the way the suspension is and everything else and how it rides down the street. But with that being said, the way that they've tweaked the suspension and everything really makes it a lot nicer. You do still have a good old-fashioned key with ignition. So if you can't stand push button start, then you got the good old-fashioned key, and we're gonna go on throttle again. On throttle, 10-speed drops down and we're off. If you notice, the gearbox is not chasing through the gears. It like knows where to be at any given moment. And of course, being in sport mode is going to increase that throttle sensitivity, steering sensitivity, and how the 10-speed and the EcoBoost behave with one another. But lots of different driving modes, and each one is specific. It has a specific feel and personality to it. But we're going to go ahead and get back. We're back here at Walker Ford. We're going to wrap this one up. I hope it's been a good one, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another sunny day. A little bit of overcast. Really been enjoying the weather for today here at Walker Ford. Definitely got to thank Frank Walker, Weston Walker, and Tracy getting us access to this 2024 Ranger XLT FX4 4x4 package. But let me know what you think. Are you liking the way that this one is spec'd? Would you rather have this over a Frontier, even though the Frontier does have a naturally aspirated V6? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you are new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's loving this temperature. He's not sweating as much, and he gets to have his favorite hat on. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.